Welcome to the Deep Dive, your shortcut to being truly well-informed. Today we're diving back into the extraordinary world of the Iranian philosopher Shihab al-Din Yahya ibn Habash Suhrawardi. This is episode 9 of 13 in our Wisdom Unveiled series. It draws directly from some really insightful conversations between Dr. Ibrahim Dinani and Dr. Ismail Mansouri Laryani. Now, just a quick note. This deep dive is a translation and reproduction of those profound discussions. And, as of any translation, some concepts or maybe nuances might not be fully conveyed. We certainly apologize in advance for any discrepancies. Your feedback is always welcome as we continue to refine these explorations. Our mission today, really, is to continue unraveling Suhrawardi's unique and, frankly, captivating understanding of the philosophy of light. We want to look at how this concept illuminates the very nature of knowledge itself, the essence of the soul, and even our eternal reality. So let's explore what this really means. Picking up where we left off, it's clear Suhrawardi has this profound, almost reverent relationship with Nur, or light. He explores it extensively in his Partanam, the Treatise of Light. But what was it about this word, this concept, that so captivated him? Why elevate it from, just description to a foundational principle?
Well, Suhrawardi wasn't merely, let's say, enamored with the word Nur. He actually positioned himself, quite explicitly, as the reviver of the philosophy of light. This is known as Hikmat Khosravani, or illuminationism. And this wasn't just another school of thought popping up. Suhrawardi genuinely saw it as Iran's unique philosophical contribution, a distinct counterpoint, really, to the more analytical, deductive approach of the Greek peripatetic tradition that was dominant.
So like where Greek thought was about logic and forms.
Exactly. Illuminationism rooted knowledge in direct, intuitive experience, in, direct illumination, you could say. But crucially, for Suhrawardi, Nur isn't just the sensory light we see with our eyes. That's really important. It's fundamentally about manifestation and presence. He uses the terms zohar and huzur.
Manifestation and presence. Okay.
Think about light's core nature. It reveals itself, right? And in doing so, it reveals everything else around it. So anything that appears, anything that is present, is by its very definition a form of light. It's the essence of being perceptible, of revealing. And this understanding leads directly to the concept of God as pure light. It echoes the Quranic statement. Allah is the light of the heavens and the earth. God is light because there's no absence in him, no darkness, no hiddenness. He is perpetually present to himself, always present to every single thing, and nothing is ever truly absent from him. His very being is absolute radiant presence. It illuminates everything.
Wow. Okay, if God is this absolute omnipresent light, that's a huge idea. But if everything that is a form of light, does that mean there's kind of hierarchy? Like is a rock less light than a person? And where do we fit in? How does our own rational soul figure into this spectrum?
Precisely. That's a great question. This grand presence, this manifestation, it definitely exists in various ranks or degrees. God is at the absolute pinnacle, the source of all luminosity. But even our rational soul, the nafs natika, the core of our conscious self, is itself a profound form of manifestation and light. It's our inner light, our awareness.
Our inner light.
Yes. Think about it. If our own soul wasn't inherently present to itself, if it didn't possess this inner light of self-awareness, then nothing else could become present to it. Our ability to perceive anything, to even know something, fundamentally starts with the soul's own self-presence, its own light.
That really shifts how I think about knowing something. You mentioned before that for Suhrawardi, true knowledge isn't just, information or a mental image. It's something deeper, like a divine ray. How does this idea of knowledge as a divine ray, or ilm Huduri, challenge how we usually think about learning?
Right, and this is where Suhrawardi really sets himself apart. He directly critiques the peripatetic philosophers, the mashai, and their definition of knowledge as simply a form gained by the intellect. He uses this analogy. If knowledge were just a form, like drawing on paper, then the paper itself would know what's drawn on it, which is obviously absurd.
Yeah, okay.
So for him, it's not just a semantic quibble. It means true knowledge is an experience of direct presence to reality, not just collecting facts about it.
So less like reading a map, more like actually being in the place.
Exactly. That's a great way to put it. For Suhrawardi, knowledge is fundamentally presence. He calls it ilm Huduri, not just an acquired form, not just a concept. It's a divine ray, a qudsi. Think about the difference, like you said, between reading about baking bread and actually smelling the yeast, feeling the dough, tasting the fresh loaf.
Right. One's information, the other's experience.
One is information about it. The other is a direct, present, illuminating experience of it. Suhrawardi argues genuine knowledge is that direct, illuminating experience, a divine ray entering the heart, transforming us. This connects beautifully with the hadith. Knowledge is a light that God casts into the heart of whomever he wishes. For Suhrawardi, that's not just a nice metaphor, it's the literal truth of what knowledge is. And knowledge, by its very nature, illuminates. To be knowledgeable is to be bright, enlightened. The more knowledge, the more awareness, the more brightness, and significantly, the more spiritual detachment someone achieves, the greater their brightness becomes. God, being pure knowledge, is pure light. If that light of awareness vanished from existence for even a second, well, there'd be only darkness, or just non-existence. It's that fundamental.
This idea of knowledge as a divine ray, as pure presence, it naturally brings up the question, is knowledge then not material at all? Does it completely transcend the physical world? Because, for most of us, our reality feels very physical, very tangible. How does Suhrawardi bridge that gap between this immaterial realm of knowledge and our everyday material lives?
Absolutely. It's a key point. Knowledge is immaterial. It transcends the physical. Just think about the basic properties of matter. Weight, shape, divisibility, age. Does knowledge have any of those?
No, you can't weigh it or cut it in half.
Exactly. Can knowledge get old? No. None of these material properties apply. It's a different category of reality altogether. Take his example of a point in geometry. A mathematician defines it as having no length, no width, no depth.
Right, impossible in the physical world.
Precisely. If it existed physically, it would have to have dimensions. But we intellectually understand what a point is. We grasped the concept. This clearly shows that intellectual concepts are immaterial. They exist beyond the physical.
So, thinking about all the information we gather today, like in databases, is that truly knowing in Suhrawardi's sense?
That's a fascinating question. From his perspective, likely not in the deepest sense. Information might be a prerequisite or a trace, but true knowledge, Huduri, involves that direct presence, that illumination. And this concept extends to our senses, too. Our senses alone, they're insufficient for real understanding. The intellect, the akal, is always working behind the scenes, making sense of sensory data. Your eye sees shapes and colors, but it's your intellect that says, that's a table. It synthesizes the raw input. So all perceptions, from basic sensation to complex thought, they're all interconnected. And ultimately, they're all forms of light, presence, manifestation.
This philosophy really does change how you might see reality itself, if everything is ultimately light and presence. What does Suhrawardi say about the afterlife, then? You mentioned earlier that the pure soul will see this light in the hereafter more clearly than things seen with the eye. What does that look like?
Yeah, it connects directly back to that Quranic verse. On the day you see the believing men and believing women, their light proceeding before them and by their right hands. Suhrawardi interprets this to mean that the spiritual light, the intellectual reality of the afterlife, is infinitely clearer, infinitely brighter than anything we perceive with our physical senses here. What seems crystal clear to us now, even with perfect eyesight, is like looking through fog compared to the luminosity of the hereafter.
Wow. So what is the afterlife like, according to him?
He describes it as a world of pure presence, utterly free from matter, from division, from separation. It's a realm of absolute knowledge, absolute light, absolute clarity, and importantly, absolute pleasure. For Suhrawardi, true pleasure isn't scattered or fleeting like worldly pleasures. It resides in unity and concentration, a state he calls jam.
Jam. Like gathering together.
Sort of, yes. Gathering all of oneself into pure, unified experience. No distraction, just complete presence. Imagine every part of your being fully present, fully aware, fully alive, all at once. He also cites another really powerful Quranic verse. And indeed, the home of the hereafter is the true life.
The true life.
Yes. Implying this worldly life, by contrast, is shadowed by darkness mixed with death, limitations, problems. The afterlife, however, is pure life, pure light, pure presence, an infinite, incomparable pleasure. It's a radical rethinking of what life even means.
Okay, that sounds incredibly, appealing. A realm of pure presence, pure pleasure. But isn't there a potential danger here? Especially for people struggling in this life, could this lead to a kind of escapism, maybe devaluing the challenges and duties we have now? And if the afterlife is so glorious, so clear, why are we often so oblivious, so unaware of that potential pleasure, or even the flip side, the pain of ignorance he talks about?
That's a really crucial point, and Suhrawardi addresses it directly. He introduces a concept called sakr-e-tabiat.
Soccer itabiat.
Yes, it translates roughly as the sickness, or maybe better, the intoxication of nature. He's basically diagnosing a kind of spiritual blindness, a deep distraction that stops us seeing the truths right in front of us. He explains that our immersion in the physical world, our attachment to its desires, it acts like a powerful drug, an intoxicant.
An intoxication, huh?
Yes, and this intoxication clouds our perception. It makes us unaware of the deep pleasures of the spiritual realm, and tragically, it blinds us to the agony of ignorance that awaits those who remain stuck in that state.
So wait, are you saying my doom scrolling or binge watching? Could that actually be part of this intoxication of nature Suhrawardi is warning about? That's quite a thought.
Well, potentially, yes. It's not that those activities are inherently evil, but if they consume our awareness, if they become our primary focus, they absolutely dim our ability to be truly present, to see what really matters. We have to engage with the world, of course, for our needs, but any indulgence beyond necessity, Suhrawardi argues, deepens this intoxication. It obscures the light of meaning.
So it's about the attachment.
Exactly. It's about recognizing how deeply these worldly attachments can run and how they actively dim the light of awareness within us, like constant static that prevents us from hearing the subtle music of reality.
Okay, so for those who try to overcome this intoxication, who pursue this path of refining their awareness, you mentioned something called karakiani or fara-ezadi, a divine effulgence. What is that exactly? How does one get it?
Right, kare is an ancient Persian term. It means a light or an effulgence that comes directly from God. It's seen as the very essence, the luminous core of the human soul. So for a seeker who diligently contemplates the light of lights, God, and nourishes themselves spiritually from that source, this divine effulgence, this far-izadi, can be bestowed upon them.
Bestowed, like a gift.
In a sense, yes, but one earned through effort and turning towards the light. It grants a kind of spiritual insight, maybe even dominance, and support from the higher realms. People who cultivate this spiritual character, they also experience dreams and inspirations. The ilham, he calls them, that are true, that are authentic, not just wishful thinking or fantasy.
Why? Because they're more receptive.
Exactly, because they've achieved a state of profound presence, also. It's like they've cleared the static from their spiritual radio so they can receive divine insights more clearly. And this cultivation also leads to true shahud witnessing or observation, and zook, which means taste or discernment.
But not physical seeing or tasting.
No. These are functions of the purified intellect. Shahud is seeing with the eye of the intellect, the ayn al-aqli. And zook is tasting with the palate of the intellect. Suhrawardi is very clear. Without a refined intellect, you can't have true shahud or zook. The intellect itself, he says, is the very lamp for this divine flame, for this spiritual light.
This is all incredibly profound, transformative even. But what does it mean for us right now, for you listening? What's the urgency in this life if the ultimate reality, the true life, is in the hereafter?
Well, urgency comes from the fact that our current state of ignorance, often fueled by that sickness of nature we talked about, leads directly to immense suffering in the afterlife. The suffering is the ignorance. Being cut off from that light, that presence, that is the suffering. Those blind to spiritual truths here will face the agony of that blindness there. It's not an arbitrary punishment. It's the natural outcome of being absent from reality.
So this life isn't just waiting room.
Not at all. This life is the cultivation field, the keshtar for the afterlife. What we sow here, our knowledge, our awareness, our character, our striving for presence, that is precisely what we will eternally reap. The connection is direct, undeniable. This isn't a practice run, it's the main event.
That puts a different spin on things.
It does, and Suhrawardi points to that powerful Quranic verse again. Whoever is blind in this world will be blind in the hereafter and even more astray. And the blindness here isn't physical. It's jahalat, profound spiritual ignorance, a lack of marifat, true knowledge of God and reality. The Prophet Muhammad, as we've touched on before in the series, is seen as the perfect example, the perfected mirror, the soul fully present, fully refined. So this life, it's incredibly precious. It's the crucial opportunity to cultivate spiritual knowledge, to refine our character, because it literally shapes our eternal reality. It's an urgent call to wake up.
A truly powerful and, yes, urgent call to reflect on. We certainly had a profound exploration today, diving into Suhrawardi's unique insights. This idea of light as ultimate presence, knowledge as immaterial, the afterlife as pure luminosity, and the absolute importance of cultivating our spiritual character right here, right now. His guidance seems pretty clear. True life isn't just about, not dying. It's about a deep transformation in how we perceive, how we know, how we act, all rooted in the divine light. So here's a thought to leave you with. If the soul, even when we think we're wide awake, can be in a state of presence that's like sleep compared to deeper realities. How much of your own waking life are you truly present for? And what eternal reality are you cultivating right now? Thank you for joining us on this deep dive. Until next time, stay curious.